Before we get into this week's video, I just want to make it clear that these are my personal thoughts and opinions. Others might have different pros and cons. This is just from my experience. I also want to add, I moved into my SUV by choice. A huge comment I received throughout my TikTok videos, in my DMs, is saying something along the lines of, I want to do what you are doing. And I always respond saying, test the waters first before you sell everything, you get a storage unit. Because this lifestyle really isn't for everyone. It's not as glamorous as it's made out to be. Before I get into the pros and cons, people don't realize daily tasks that you have to do that you don't normally have to do if you have a house or RV or a van. For example, you want to cook, you have to take everything out, but you also have to put it all away. You're using dishes, you have to clean them. You can't just be lazy and throw them in a sink and wait to do them. You have to get it done. Or you want to shower, well, you got to get your shower bag out, set it all up. Those small little tasks add a lot throughout your day. I feel like I need to start with the con list because there's a lot more cons than pros. But for me personally, the pros outweigh the cons. I feel like this is an obvious one. Not having a bathroom and not having a kitchen. At first, the bathroom was very annoying, but then not having a kitchen, I realized, was top on my list because your diet is very inconsistent, and if you're constantly traveling and not being stationed in one spot, it makes it difficult. You can get a cooler, but then you're constantly getting ice and then you're wasting money on ice. So I've realized not having a cooler is better for me personally. Not having a kitchen is pretty rough. The bathroom situation, I mean, you get used to being one with nature, and that can lead into also lack of privacy.
Tesla just drove down this. I'm literally shaving my freaking leg.
Because when you are in a physical bathroom, you have no privacy because people are coming and going out of gas stations or Planet Fitness. That's one thing, you never have that bathroom privacy. I don't know if you could consider this a con, but there's gonna be some days where you're constantly crying.
I'm doing great!
Because nothing's working out. And for me personally, I have learned to adapt and adjust in situations like that where, oh, it didn't work out because what if I got into an accident if it did work out? I try to look at the brighter side of things, you know what I'm saying? But it can get really frustrating. Then you're wasting your whole day trying to figure out a new plan, but then that new plan won't work, and
I'm doing great!
I feel like that kind of goes into the daily tasks. I don't know. I really don't like this lighting, so let's go back over here because I can't film outside because the sun is too harsh. So we're inside the vehicle and I'm trying to make it fun, you know? Anyways, our con is lack of space, except for you kind of adapt and just get used to it. If you are building out your car or SUV or whatever it may be, really utilize your space. I feel like I did a really good job. When I did this build out, I designed it, my dad built it. I can't take any credit for the build part because I just designed it, but I utilized a lot of space. And I know in my last video, I linked 2 videos, but I'm gonna link them again because my first ever one is a car tour. But in my deep clean video, I added a contraption in the front, which I had thought out in my head, but my brother-in-law built it for me, so I can't take any of the credit for that either. I have utilized every nook and cranny in this space, and I can actually fit so much in here. Overall, when I mean lack of space, I mean lack of movement. Okay, you get used to like crawling over things. Could be another con. You're constantly cleaning because you have such a small space. It gets dirty so fast. It is fast to clean up. Another con is you're not always waking up in beautiful places. A lot of times you're sleeping in parking lots, side streets. Another con is being sick and plus being a lady. It's not fun when that time comes, but there was only one time where I was like physically ill and it sucked. It actually sucked. But thank goodness it was like a 24-hour bug. Other than that, knock on wood, I have not had anything serious happen. But yeah, being sick in your vehicle is just miserable. Before we get into the pros, I just want to show you my tripod setup right now because it's actually ridiculous. I have a black bin, Jackery, One of my safety things, a gauze from my first aid kit. And yeah, this is what we're looking like. I try to use the tripod and zoom in, but it just wasn't working. Now on to the pros. The obvious one, finding such cool, remote, free places to sleep. It's so rewarding, and I think that makes up for all the cons.
I'm doing great!
Honestly. And just your overall freedom that you have when you're living on the road. If you like a place, you can stay there longer. You move freely. You move when you want to move. It's nice. Another pro, you truly do save money. A lot of people will come at you like, oh, you spend so much money on gas. But in reality, you're kind of staying in the same spot for like a week, 2 weeks, maybe even longer. So you're not spending that much money on gas. And for me personally, every time I moved, I wasn't moving too far. There was only a handful of times where I did a long travel day, but for the most part I would only move an hour, maybe 2 hours to a new spot. So I really wasn't spending that much on gas. And since I get questions on this all the time, what do I do for work? My main source of income comes from Amazon. I'm part of their influencer program, but where I make most of my money is on their on-site commission, which is an extension from their influencer program. So once you apply to be in their influencer program, you have to apply to make money through their on-site commission. And a lot of bigger influencers just make money through their storefront, which I have a decent size, but I don't have people constantly going to my storefront and shopping. So I am able to make videos that get approved through Amazon, and Amazon place those videos on their site. And when people click and watch the video and then purchase, I get a portion of that commission. So that is my main source of income. Some months my TikTok does better than that. So they kind of like switch off from time to time, but through TikTok I make money through views. People send me gifts on live, which if you send me gifts on live, thank you. It's going towards my business right now that I am starting. And I also make commission through TikTok Shop. I'm editing this, and I also want to add for work that I do have a seasonal job. I will have this seasonal job as long as they let me work there, which I'm currently doing right now. I'm also starting a jewelry business, so hopefully that's another source of income. And as of right now, I do not make any money on YouTube. I'm almost there. I'm almost to that point to getting monetized. So with that being said, I'm going to do a little self-promo. Go watch my Life on the Road playlist and just watch the videos all the way through. It would be even better if you interacted. It would mean a lot to me. YouTube is something I've wanted to do for many, many years, and it took me a long time to actually be confident enough to start one. Another pro, when you're traveling in a state on the road, you get a completely different experience than you do if you are traveling by plane. You actually experience the state. I don't know, that's something I really enjoy. I'm trying to change scenery so it's not a sit down where I'm in the same spot, but I don't got a lot to work with. We have the lovely Superstition Mountains, so pretty, and I moved these, my visors, so I could get this one clip. And now we're gonna crawl back and finish up this video back here. Oh my gosh. For some people this might be a con, and others this might be a pro. I feel like it's kind of the both. Honestly, I should have made a Venn diagram because there's a lot of things that kind of go in the both category. This is another thing I wouldn't consider pro or con. It's in the both section. Being mindful of your water and your power, especially if you're in Washington and Oregon and the sun's not always out. There'll be like days where you can't use your solar panel, or it's not getting a lot of watts to it, so it's hard to charge things. So then you have to really limit yourself on what you need and what you don't need. I wouldn't say that's like a big con. It definitely humbles you tremendously. I feel like I need to add this in there because a lot of people will come into my lives or comment saying, don't you feel lonely? Or I would get lonely. I could never do that alone. Aren't you scared? I personally like being alone. Don't get me wrong. I have my moments where, oh, I wish I could be cherishing this moment with someone. But for the most part, I am such an introvert that I enjoy doing a lot of things alone. And I know that can be very difficult for some people. And for me personally, I just enjoy my own company, that it works out fine. When it comes to being scared, I've definitely had moments, but I just remove myself from the situation. And I always tell people, like, no one would want to mess with me because I would go psycho. I don't think anyone wants to witness that. Nothing ever goes as planned. The sun is so harsh. Here comes another car. This wasn't even going to be my video for this week. I had a whole other idea, but the van is in the shop. So that's on me because I should have just filmed it earlier this week. But here we are sitting on Saturday and I'm filming this last minute video and it's getting posted tomorrow. But yeah, the sun just really wanted to be vibrant today. It is 58 degrees. It's actually perfect outside because the sun's hitting. There's a slight little breeze. 10 out of 10. This is also one of my favorite little... Here comes another car. I don't think you realized how much throughout this video I had to stop and wait for them to pass by. That's the one thing, this place gets super busy on weekends and I've camped here multiple times. Hopefully next week goes as planned.